Hey, man, what's up with y'all, man? It's another episode of Tapping In with Hefe. We going up. I like to call myself the no jumper, the IE around this motherfucker. But today we got a special guest who was just on the Shark Tank. Player Lil Kelpy. Go ahead and introduce yourself, player.
Yeah. Oh, it's Lil Kelpy. You can know me as Kelpy the P. Honestly, you can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me broke.
Hey, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that, man. I ain't mad at that. So, just real quick, I just one thing I do want to say is um the one thing that I noticed at like right immediate about the Shark Tank interview, I realized like 20 seconds in, Sharp was tripping. And I think more than likely it was because you came in there and you had like the big furry coat on and the dollar sign jacket. Now you might not have thought about it like that, but for dudes who are like, that's been doing this shit for quite some time, they might take it as like you're taking the stereotypical type of image of some ism and going in there.
Yeah.
But I think that's what set him off in the first 26 seconds. But what was your train of thought on your outfit for Sharp Tank?
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be real. I had that outfit, like the chain that I got on now, and all that shit before I was even in the game. I think money is freedom, so I put it on my neck.
Most definitely, bro. Most definitely. I ain't knocking. I just wanted to point that out. But
Yeah.
how did you what led to the whole Sharp Tank shit anyway? Like, how did that even happen? Because amongst a lot of us, once you make it onto the platform of No Jumper to like get interviewed, it's kind of like, like that's a big thing. Rather you get the interview from Adam, AD, House Phone, Sharp, Yuri, whoever. Like you made it to that platform. What was that like? How did you get there?
Honestly, it was just like a FaceTime call between me and Sharp after he saw my soft white underbelly interview. Shout out to Mark for that. He just started like calling me out and shit and saying I was a fake. So I was like, all right, bro, let's talk. And he wanted to charge 5 bands, but eventually we got to the point where he was like basically asking to interview me. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll hop on there. We just did it.
That's dope, man. That's dope. You went up there and you did what you're supposed to do, and I like how you carried yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah,
cool, calm, and collective. Regardless of what him and suspect was saying to you, you kept your composure, and
yeah,
you could have easily just got mad, and it could have just went to shit.
yeah,
What I mean, it wouldn't have been a pretty situation because clearly you was out of bounds. But I
yeah.
respect a person like that could just still talk through the craziness. You know what I'm saying?
Chaos going on. And honestly, like, I just didn't want to freak out on the show and shit because I was like, you know what, these motherfuckers, it's gonna show and speak volume about how they're behaving, just yelling at me, not letting me speak and shit like that. So I lost a lot of respect for the both of them after being treated like that kind of thing. I get where they were coming from to a point, but it was just mad disrespectful when they were talking about respect and they were just, you know, disrespecting just the interview platform right there by not letting me speak at all.
No, yeah, for sure, for sure. If you're gonna, I'm a strong believer in like, if you're gonna interview someone or ask person questions, at least let a person talk and explain themselves. You know what I'm saying? But I also understand, the generation like where Sharp is from. You know what I mean? That's he dates pre the Craigslist era when the Craigslist era was booming. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Dude's been around for show, for show, for shit. So
Oh,
he definitely been around this motherfucker before Backpage, Craigslist, my Red Book. Like he definitely didn't touch a few blades and this, that, and the third.
Oh yeah, yeah. That old school shit. Honestly, like he was trying to tell me that shit's not popping, and without getting incriminating or anything. At least from what I know, people still making Craigslist work. So when he was like calling me up on Facetime and telling me, "Oh, this shit's not working. This shit's not working. That shit's not working," I was kind of like, I mean, maybe you need to check it out a little bit more because that shit can still be popping if you do it right.
No, definitely, definitely. We're in the digital age. As
Mhm.
my partner Big Church like to say, this is the digital pivot. You know what I'm saying? We motherfuckers is going from the old school ways of getting it to trying new different things. And the internet is it's I've always been a internet person. You know what I mean? Internet money is great.
Exactly. I mean, you can't knock the money and you can't knock the hustle. I'm not saying like I told him, you know, they've walked the blade, they've hit the track, their fair share of times and shit like that. It's just, it ain't as easy, it ain't as cracking. We can sit down at home and make money just off the internet. So why would we not? You know what I'm saying?
No, most definitely, bro. Definitely. Like because we talked about this shit in our interview too. It's like he's like, it's why wouldn't you want to be able to make that type of bread from the comfort of your home? Like, you could take because his thing is the OnlyFans thing. You could take a video and you could sell that same video a million motherfucking times. You know what I mean? If you out on the blade, rather it's Western Fig, Sepulveda, El Cajon Boulevard, nigga, Harbor over there by Hazard or wherever the fuck it's at, you run a whole lot of risk of being out there, especially if you don't have your chick on autopilot and you out there babysitting her. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of fucking shit that you deal with when you're in the game trying to really just be stomped down, concrete hero type motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Sheriffs are out there like crazy, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, if your bitch is out of pocket and just kind of like decides to stop and listen to what the police have to say and just, tell a whole story and shit, you're going to get fucked over from that. So it's like, why even take that risk if you're still getting the same?
Yeah, exactly, bro. And then, motherfuckers is it's a whole lot of shit going on. But one more another thing I wanted to ask you that I did catch on the interview with the sharp shit.
Yeah.
The term getting served and knocking. Are you familiar with those two terms?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. I just had to double check. I'm like, come on, he got to know what it means to serve a motherfucker. You know what I mean, or to knock a motherfucker. Like,
Familiar with it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, and I told Sharp that, or I tried to tell Sharp this before I was rudely interrupted by him a bunch of times. I'm not an official congregation member, but that doesn't mean I'm not getting to it and playing the same game he's playing. Just because I'm not, as familiar with it as he is, doesn't mean that I'm not doing it just like he is.
no, yeah, for sure, bro. You got to crawl before you walk. Rome wasn't built in a day. Like everyone takes baby steps, and everyone has a very unique beginning as to how they got into the game. You know what I mean? And when they got into the game, they had the older people chiming in on them, going hard on them, telling them this, that, and the third. It might even be setting them up for failure. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I had a OG pimp partner up out of Vegas, this dude named, and essentially what he would try to do is he would befriend motherfuckers that were like new to the game and try to have them come around him with their bitches and shit, just to, like knock him, because the dude would, because you got to remember, like, there's no friendship in that shit amongst you and other P's. You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers is trying to take what you got, bring it home to them, run that shit up.
Real shit.
Yeah.
And that goes of it, you know what I'm saying? Like the clients, tricks, whatever you want to call them, the bitches, and other P's too. It's cold hearted game, just like a lot of the shit out there in life.
No, definitely, bro, definitely, most definitely. Yeah. So what else did you get from your experience, your no jumper experience?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I got disrespected a bunch. I was told, my story wasn't correct to being in this lifestyle and a bunch of shit along those lines, and basically just a whole lot of disrespect. I didn't feel like I got my chance to speak. I feel like Sharp didn't give me even a crumb of game. He really just yelled at me and tried to be like my father in a sense, but I wasn't there for that. I was promised something different, but it is what it is.
What were you what was so you was essentially supposed to go there, and like how did you envision it in your head how it was supposed to go? And what were you thinking when you got to the location and you got out the car and you walked in there and they greeted you, you came in, like, what was all that like?
Basically I just I had my mom drive me, and then as soon as I got there, I was greeted by the security and shit. That dude was a real one. Shout out to Tony. And after waiting like an hour, 2 hours from when it was supposed to start, he finally saw me. We kind of greeted each other and shit, and it was like disrespectful as fuck from the jump. So once we get into the room and shit like that, he's already acting like the police telling my mom shit. Like my mom doesn't know what's going on, and he's out there, blabbing his mouth to my mom. I'm like, all right, first of all, bro, you got me fucked up. Maybe it's gonna be different when we get in the room. but it switched up entirely from what he told me it was gonna be like on the FaceTime call, and so it really let me down. He let me down.
Damn. Damn. Yeah. That's very unfortunate, young fly player. That's very, very unfortunate. What what are some things you want to get out on that platform that you weren't able to say?
There's a lot of shit I wanted to get out, but above all, I just wanted to get out the fact that, other dudes, no matter how much they be trying to knock my bitch, it ain't happening. And Sharp probably thought he could do that from, me having her on the platform, but she was out there getting her money. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't just gonna abandon all that shit just to bring her on an interview. But I actually got her right here if y'all want me to bring her on.
Yeah,
Yeah, real
bring her
quick.
on, player. Bring her on. Because I seen that Sharp had mentioned her on there and shit.
Yeah. He was hating on her as well, and she wasn't even there. Like I said, when we were on FaceTime, he was telling her like stay in pocket because she was like saying a little piece every here and there type shit. But his bitch was in the background doing the same shit, and so I didn't even say nothing about that. But I'm like, bro, how you gonna tell me to keep my bitch in pocket when your bitch out of pocket as fuck? But it is what it is. This Crystal right here, my bottom bitch.
Hey,
Only
hey, say now, say now, what's up with you? How you doing over there?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, so all right, bet. So you go to the no jumper shit. Here's a question.
yeah.
Like OnlyFans.
Mhm.
What's your take on that? Your perspective, opinion on that?
I fuck with it. If I'm gonna be real, I was fully in the game before OnlyFans was something we were a part of. I'm never gonna, or I shouldn't say never because never say never, but I'm not a part of the OnlyFans right now. But I got her into it and made sure that she's running up her check on that and everything like that. So she's in it. I'm not a part of that right now though because I don't feel like I need to be. But yeah, she's making her bread off that. So shout out to OnlyFans for sure.
No, yeah, definitely. OnlyFans is definitely a nice substantial bag, depending on how you go about it and all that other good shit.
It
Uh,
is.
so is she the one that went with you to Soft White Underbelly, or is it another two, or that's one of the ones that was on there?
This other bitch I used to have, she's out of the game now. She's back with her family and shit. Still all love to her. We ain't like that no more. She's not a part of my stable, but she's held it down from the beginning, and she was the first, like I like to say, the first real hoe I had.
Yeah,
So holding it down and shit, making the bread.
I dig it. I dig it. How did the Soft White Underbelly shit come about?
The software underbelly was honestly just me reaching out to a mutual associate of Mark, the guy who like makes the channel and shit like that,
Mhm.
and he wanted to talk to me about my story, and then eventually decided like he wanted us to do an interview. So we drove down there, did the interview, and it just blew up from there. So I think that's how Sharp got the attention of me basically, and vice versa was just through that interview.
No, yeah, I seen that. I seen a good chunk of that Soft White Underbelly shit. I was like, okay, look at this little thing. Like, look at this little thing. He got a two-piece though. Like,
Yeah, a lot of
I ain't mad at him. No, I ain't mad at him. He out there. He got a little two-piece. Okay, player. I see you, man. Do what you got to do, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because at the end of the day, what you do and how you make your money is really no one else's goddamn business. And who needs someone else's opinion on what you guys are doing to sustain yourself? That motherfucker, my opinion, no one else's opinion is fucking helping you, bro.
exactly. I don't
So
take
who gives a fuck? Just that's always been my mindset. Yeah, for sure. So brief. Let me hear like a little bit more about you, like your guys' background and shit. Like just real
yeah.
brief. Like where are y'all from and shit, and like how y'all know each other, how y'all meet and all that good shit.
Well, basically, I'm from Orange County, born and raised my whole life, bounced around probably like 6 different cities around the OC. She's from the IE, and she stayed in LA for a minute, and
Hey.
Moreno Valley, if you know where that's at.
Oh, Moreno Valley, that's lit. I went to Butterfield and Solano.
Okay, hell yeah, yeah. She was from,
Yeah.
like I said, LA for a little while, like Western, Northern LA type shit. and basically Orange County after that. And that's how we met, was just, you know, Orange County. It's a small community, despite what the population is. It's a pretty small town, small world.
Yeah, OC is lit, bro. It's hella
Most
bad out there, nigga. Hella you know what I'm saying? Hella
I mean,
baddies.
Orange thing about it, you got like multi-million-dollar houses, you got billionaires living there, but then you also got like the underbelly of all that paradise. You got, you know, tweakers and you know, other types like that. So it's crazy, but people definitely judge being from OC just because of what the world portrays it as. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, for sure. So another thing that you guys touched on Soft White and Shark Tank,
Yeah.
like you have like an addiction, right? To like whatever drug it may be. How do you do you think that that's something that you could overcome, or is it something that helps you cope with shit, or like, you know what? Because I feel like a drug addiction this day and age is a big thing. Like I've had a gang of homies die off of fentanyl and all sorts of crazy shit. So it's like, you know, what is something you might be able to tell someone that might be experimenting with shit or something? Like, I don't know, like what are some words of advice you could give to someone, like some not to do drugs? Like, I don't know what the fuck you do. I really don't give a damn. It ain't my business. But I seen that they mentioned it, so it's like, elaborate on that.
Okay, so basically with the drugs, we're both trying to overcome our addictions right now. Matter of fact, for me, I haven't touched, my addiction was prescription opioids. I haven't touched one of those in a couple of months, and a lot of people got it fucked up because when the Soft White Underbelly interview dropped, they were like saying we were high during the interview and shit, but then they were also saying when the Shark Tank thing dropped, like, oh, he just said weeks ago when Soft White Underbelly dropped that, you know, we were still drug addicts and shit. But a lot of people forget that there's a big time period before that interview drops. It was already done and shit. So that interview was made a long time before it dropped. And we were still struggling with addictions. But even then, at least for me, I was talking about it from like a past type of point of view.
Yeah.
And now with Crystal, she's still struggling with it. She was addicted before I met her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't supply her with nothing like that because I ain't no drug dealer. I ain't trying to get my bitches on drugs. She's still struggling.
As you should, man. That's not the name of the game. The name of the game is to elevate a motherfucker. You know, if a motherfucker don't got their driver's license, you gotta get them their license. If they got their license but no car, you gotta get them a car, and then you gotta get them an apartment, and then a house. And you know, there's this look at it as levels. You know, accomplish the goal and go to the next.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's kind of how we're viewing. That's exactly how we're viewing it. It's just, you know, stacking, working for the next goal, setting goals for ourselves, and just trying to achieve them and shit. And that goes for sobriety, you know, housing. We got vehicle, but all that type of shit.
No, yeah, most definitely. What led you, even if you don't mind me asking, if you can elaborate on it? I don't want, you know, if you don't gotta say too much, but what led to you know, fortune and being in the game out of curiosity?
It was pretty simple, honestly. I saw two people that were kind of already involved in the street like that, and I kind of just turned them onto the game, and we went from there. It's a real simple story. I feel like it's pretty similar to most people's stories. I guess you could say turned them out, but no, they had already dabbled in it and shit like that previously, but basically just put them onto some realism, and then, you know, we went from there.
Most definitely, bro. Most definitely. If any people from like No Jumper just so happen to watch this interview,
yeah,
you know, what do you want to tell them? Like, talk to the people right now. Because when I go through the comments, it's just like everyone is just, you know, it's not like a two-sided thing. It's like a one-sided type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really want you to just really get your message out there. Like, you know what I mean? Because that was the point of you going on there, not for you to get, you know, knocked down or nothing, but for you to speak the truth.
Yeah, my message to everybody out there, you know, keep hating, and it's just motivating me. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, the hate, I don't look at it as like, oh, these people are judging me and shit like that. Like, they're they're knocking down my character and all that. It's like I came on there for one reason, and that's to, turn that clout into money. And them hating, that's just boosting me. You know what I'm saying? It's motivating me. It's getting my name out there and shit like that. And regardless of that light right now, you know what I'm saying? It ain't really gonna change all and turn it into the positive shit.
Most definitely, player. So those charges that he read off, you said that has nothing to do with like the soft white underbelly shit or nothing. That was just some like dealing with like your addiction type of shit.
Yeah, that happened actually, I think a day or two before the soft white underbelly. We were already scheduled to go on soft white underbelly, and we were all chilling at the pad. I went outside to have a smoke, and they were still in the pad. And basically, the sheriff showed up, raided the pad, and they took a shit ton of bread. And they took some substances and some other items, and they tried to make it out to look like it was one thing. In reality, the charges are well, I don't want to talk about the criminal case too much pending, but they made it out to be something that it wasn't. They made it out to be that I was, selling drugs and shit like that. In reality, we're just addicts, and that was all my personal supply for using.
Oh, I see. That that makes sense. I mean, shit. They gotta understand this day and age, motherfuckers like to. If a motherfucker like to get high, he got some money. He gonna keep a supply of his drug. I mean, that's what it boils down to, nigga. Shit.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah,
they were sort of like local drug kingpin type bullshit just because I had a ton of drugs. But like I said, it's cheaper in bulk, and I was getting high all the time, so I just wanted to save money and keep getting money.
Most definitely. Do you was when you went to No Jumper, was did you interact with anyone else, or was it just like you just interacting with Sharp and like, or was anyone else show you respect or disrespect you or anything like that?
Nah, like right when I got there, Sharp and Almighty, they were still in the room doing another interview. But as soon as I saw them, they both interacted with me. Like I said, it was real negative, real hateful from the jump. Almighty and laughing and shit like that. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what y'all finding funny. Like, I'm getting money just like y'all, just because we ain't, on the same level. And when I say same level, I don't mean that I'm not real ism like they is. I'm just saying, like, I'm not out here being all Hollywood and shit like that, putting on an act for the camera. Because, as real as I think Sharp is, Almighty and him, when they're on the camera, they're just putting on a whole Hollywood persona. And I really don't fuck with that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, shit. At the end of the day, bro, if you are getting it out of a bitch, you know what I mean, like on some AOB type shit, then I mean, essentially that's what it is. That's what you're doing. Now, the level at what you're doing it might be subjective to a debate, but at the end of the day, if that's what you're doing and that's how you getting your bread, then hey, fuck. I mean, that's what you're doing. Shit, you got to do what you got to do, nigga. Making your money, all that good stuff. But what are as far as your music goes, what are your influences for your music?
A lot of old school music. Cause like I grew up on a lot of mariachi music and like NWA and Pac and Biggie. So old school is really just my main influence, but I listen to everything, every genre of music. I take inspiration from it and shit in my own music. But I'd say old school is like the biggest one for sure.
That's dope. So you're a young dude, but you favor like old school type of shit, essentially, like music and maybe like styles and stuff like that.
Exactly. Like, I'm not saying I don't take inspiration from the new school, but in my opinion, the old school is, evolving with the time, not changing the old morals, old values and shit, but evolving with the time. So when Sharp was like, "Oh, you're an internet P, you're not really like, you're not really some real ism and shit like that." I'm like, bro, I'm old school in the way that I think I evolve and shit like that with the times, like y'all probably was doing. Y'all just trying to act like you out there on the blade every day, never getting money off the internet and shit. And I'm like, bro, y'all can think what you want, but old school, like I said, it's evolving with the time. It's changing to get the bread because the ways to get money is always changing.
No, yeah, most definitely. And motherfuckers will always like it becomes a divide, you know,
Yeah.
amongst the motherfuckers who like on some stomp down concrete general shit, and then some motherfuckers that's, you know, on their laptop posting
Yeah.
that shit. Like they don't think that it's weird, bro, because it's just like it's all the same shit. You know what I mean? And you
Going about it.
you know, motherfuckers get big dough either off the blade or off the internet. So that's one thing I never understood either is how like they try to like not saying shark in general, but just like
Nah, I guess.
people in the game would just try to like divide the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's definitely not just him. You know what I'm saying? I've had, love and hate from real peace. But a lot of them are kind of telling me the same thing, like, you need to get out there and make a name for yourself and shit. But at the same time, I think of it my way is like I want to make a name for myself, but I don't know how much of a name I want to make for myself in actual streets. Because, like you said, it's a cold, hateful game, just like most other shit. So it's like, how far in this do I be, especially because I'm young and shit. And, it can lead to a lot of unforeseen consequences and things of that nature.
No, yeah, most definitely, definitely. You definitely don't want to, you know, man, look at it like this, bro. There's people that are in Mexico, right? That are
Yeah.
the heads of these cartels that we will never fucking know. And
No.
I'm sure they are living comfortably, chilling, just
Oh,
they don't need the attention on them. You know what I mean? And you know, and in theory, I'm not saying that you are, but if a person is doing, you know, some street shit, you always
yeah.
want to be behind the scenes. You don't never want to be seen. I mean, the people that know will know,
Yeah.
essentially. You know what I mean? And that's just what it boils down to. You know, your name will definitely elevate as life goes on. I mean, you're a young motherfucker, so you know, by the time you hit your 23s, 25s, and 30s, and all this type of shit, you know, you'll met more people and been more established and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, real shit. And I mean, kind of just to like, backpack off of that, the whole reason I went on to Soft White and No Jumper and agreed to do those interviews and shit was honestly just because I'm trying to transition away from the streets 100%. Not to say that I won't be dabbling in it and shit like that, but I'm just saying like I'm trying to make more money and I can have separate hustles and shit like that and try and just play it smart to the point where I'm not incriminating myself because obviously I'm not doing anything illegal. I want to make that clear. This is all for entertainment purposes, but basically just trying to get extra hustles and shit. And if that's social media or music or whatever, I'm saying getting my name out there faster means making money faster. So
No, most definitely, bro. And you know, me being that I'm older than you, I'm not gonna encourage you to
yeah.
to do what you're doing and how you're doing it. You know, you're gonna live your own life. I wouldn't encourage that, but I would say take a strong look into like, you know, like the like OnlyFans, Fansly, and all that type of shit, bro, because
Yeah.
that could potentially save you a major headache. And that's another thing that that Sharp. One thing I got from that is that you know, it's a very very tricky, slippery, dangerous game to play if you're not all the way 100% on knowing what you're doing and how to go about certain scenarios. You know,
Yeah.
we spoke on the phone yesterday. I'm not gonna say we spoke about, but there's
Yeah.
things I mentioned that you may not have been hip about. You know, and just
Yeah.
you know, it's a whole lot of thinking ahead, bro. A whole lot of thinking ahead. You got to think hella steps ahead to fucking maintain this freedom and you know keep chucking them, keep getting them dollars. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
You know,
Navigate. And that, like I said, that phone conversation, or like you said, sorry, that phone conversation yesterday really put me on to the new shit. Cause I wasn't even thinking, I mean, I was thinking ahead about as far as consequences go, but I wasn't necessarily thinking ahead about like the severity of those consequences, I guess. Like, you hear that they're handing out human trafficking life charges and shit like that, life sentences, but you don't really think about what that means until you're in that scenario and you've been in that scenario for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Even just facing those charges, like I've faced in the process right now of some pretty serious shit and it's just, that shit stresses you the fuck out. It really ain't nothing to play with.
facts, man. And with that being said, I'm gonna hit you when we get off this. We'll chop it up and shit. But with that being said, man, I appreciate you for coming on to my show. And man, y'all need to like and subscribe to Big Motherfucking Hefe, because